What a day! What a moment to score your first goal for the club as well. Shandon getting his first goal in stoppage time.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're asking me to sum it up, I'm going to struggle. It was just been a whole range of emotions. A lovely moment for Shandon because he's a boy who cares. And I've really felt from this season because he's got himself going, then had a couple of breakdowns, but he's gone about his work so well. He's someone I've admired from afar. I've said it before. For a number of years, he's a top player, a really top player. And for him to have that moment after such a frustrating season, football throws up these stories, doesn't it? And I'm really pleased for him.
I mean, you must be pleased with the performance, from minute one, really. I mean, totally at them for the whole match. Obviously hit the woodwork a couple of times. Down to 10 minutes. It looked like it wasn't going to go in, though.
No, I didn't. It's obviously tough, when the game changes so early. It's obviously a completely different game to the one we expected at that point. And we had to stay patient, understand that it might not all fall into place right away. We had to keep probing and keep working. Maybe in the first half it wasn't quite what we wanted it to be, but when we came out second half, I felt like we were really patient and tried to get in some real good areas. A lovely save, like great save from Walshy. We hit the post, 1-on-1, the goalie saves as well, and it just, 17 corners. Someone just told me, I've not checked that, but it's just, is it going to be our day? But then Walshy gets sent off, and it's a whole range of emotions. But the lads stayed strong, kept probing. The team spirit and the togetherness has been growing for a while now. And for the boys to share that moment together was very special.
And Matt, crucial now, it's in your own hands.
Yeah, but it's just we've got to take it in isolation again. We can't get carried away with the situation as we haven't done before. We've just got to make sure we're prepared and ready to go again. We've been fighting the whole way through, and we've got to keep that fight. If we'll be in trouble if we think we've done it all. We absolutely won't. We've got to make sure we enjoy the moment, of course, because it was that elation with it coming so late. It was probably more euphoric than it would have been had it been slightly different. But enjoy the weekend and come Monday ready to work again.
Just finally, the atmosphere today was incredible, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was fantastic. I loved it. I absolutely loved being in the ground today. From the minute we walked out for the warm-up, from the minute the game kicked off, just hearing our supporters in full voice, and they could have got frustrated at times because it looked like maybe it wasn't going to be our day, but they really stayed with us. So I just need to say the biggest thank you to them because, they were incredible today. Thank you.
If we look at just the goal first, I mean, did you see it from where you were? Because when we were resitting, it looked like the defender was going to clear it quite easily.
Yeah, I've not seen it back yet. And maybe it was slightly fortuitous in terms of the way it came about, but I think we earned that in the way we'd been really knocking at the door. Even when it was 10 against 10, it was still us looking likely to go and score. The lads had a real determination about them, but it could have easily not been that. So we understand that the game is on moments. Our matches have been on moments. Blackburn at home hit the bar twice and missed a couple of chances, and it reflects poorly today. Could have been that way if we don't take that moment in the end, but we've been working so incredibly hard. I think we earned that today.
You touched as well, a great moment for Shandon. Bottom in the last couple of games now, and
yep.
He was just in the right position, wasn't he? Kind of sniffed out where he was going to go.
Yeah, we just wanted to get Tello as close to our opposition. He's got so much ability. We wanted to get him higher up the pitch. Once we went down to 10, he was in midfield with Clicker, and we just felt like we wanted to get him as close to our opposition's goal as possible, which meant bringing on Shandon. He's a lovely footballer, a proper footballer. Football has a funny way of throwing up these stories. So for him to have that moment at the end was brilliant.
And when that actually went in, what was your feelings?
I think I lost it for a moment, didn't I? I don't think that it's easy to contain yourself in those moments because the game is about emotion. Life is obviously throws you these challenges, and we've just tried to stay as calm as we can with our jobs here and try and think as clearly as possible, but it's not easy to do when a moment like that throws itself.
6 minutes went up as well, stoppage time, but kind of the players kept their nerve, didn't they, really? There wasn't that much.
Yeah, I felt we had a little wobble, 10 against 10. It just felt like we had a slight wobble when that happened, and we just kind of, we just had a little wobble. But once we've been ahead a couple of times recently, and we've found a way of believing that we can see it out. Maybe slightly earlier in the season when I first came in, thinking of Oxford, we got ahead twice and couldn't do it. In other games, we've got ourselves ahead and not quite, but recently we've done it a couple of times, and that builds the belief and the confidence that you're able to go and do it again.
At the start of the game, you went an unchanged side from the last game. You could have brought in Callum, Jordan, and
yep.
the experience, but you kept faith with the players that won last on Monday.
Yeah, in my opinion, Clips will say he was fully fit. I just felt like he had an injury in his calf. and the longer he played, the more risk he was at to re-injure himself. And because the level of performance was so good on Monday, felt like an unnecessary risk, knowing full well that we had a top player to come on and influence the game in the second half, should we need. Ultimately, that's the way it played out. I thought Clix was fantastic when he came on, real composure. So yeah, it just felt like we couldn't expose him to re-injury when Lamine and Walshy was man of the match last week in my mind, playing in that deeper role. And again, same with Cal. Just felt like the right thing to keep the same team together.
It was one of Lamine's probably his best performance so far for the club, do you think, as well?
Yeah, I thought Monday he was very, very good. Today and again I feel awful because he just had that chance before we, obviously we had Clicker ready to come on, and it felt a bit bad that you were taking him off after that. It wasn't a reflection on that. It just felt like we were getting around the box loads of times, and Clicker, we've seen it here a number of times where he's either got the goal or the assist. So, yeah, I thought Lamine was excellent. We've had to be patient with Lamine because he came over in January, and he's been building up his understanding of the English game and what we require. And the performances of some of those around him have probably limited his opportunities at times. Walshy, Clicker and Tello have been the midfield three for the majority, and I think they've done particularly well. But he's now played 3 in a row, Lamine, and I'm really pleased with him. Yeah, and because Tedden was then on his wrong side and we were having so much on the ball, he, being right-footed predominantly, he was coming back inside the pitch. We just wanted to get that balance on the left-hand side, so it was a choice of bringing Cal on or dropping Amari back and bringing Chongi on as the left wing-back. But we just felt, again, with Cal's know-how and leadership and being able to organise those around him, it felt like the right choice at half-time to get him on the pitch. Yeah, we felt that was an opportunity for us with Millie to get down the sides, and we've spoken a lot about that before the game. With our wing backs against the back four, the detachment between centre back and full back, you were able to get Millie down the sides. It was actually the full back that was covering, but it was the game plan that we'd spoken about, and it's a great ball from Tello, and Millie's obviously a real threat when he's at the top of the pitch like that. So we started the game really well, and then obviously once it goes down to 10, it's a completely different contest. Yeah, as far as I mean, I've not studied it, but my instinct from the side was a red. I guess it's going to be, but take nothing away from the group. We're playing against a very good Coventry team. Frank's done an incredible job, and they're going to be in the playoffs. So as far as I'm concerned, so for us to we spoke yesterday, didn't we? We played 7 out of the top 9, I think it is. Check my facts, but at home since we've been here. So we've had far from an easy run, but the performance has been building, and it's nice to finish the season off with 2 wins at home.
When it was down to 10, you had all the ball and lots of playing around the box. Was that a message at half time to kind of do a little bit more with it?
Yeah, of course, but it's the way you do more of it. Defensively, Coventry were really solid, and we knew that before the game. Their distances from front to back when they're in their block is very, very good. They're a very well organised team. Obviously, they've got top coaches and doing the work. And we felt like we needed to be patient and just probe a little bit more. A couple of times in the first half we were putting crosses in, but felt like they had good physicality in those moments, so we had to try and get, which we did with Lamine's chance, with Clicker when he comes on, pulls one back, try and get those higher higher XG chances rather than just crossing it from out wide.
Liam Walsh have been outstanding during the game, and then gets the red card. Have you had a chance to look at it?
I have.
Was a red card?
No chance. No chance. Unfortunately for the referee, I think he's been. It's not red. He's just. It's not red.
Has this been shown a straight red though? Can you possibly appeal that?
I think so, and I understand. From my point of view, we will be absolutely. It's not a red card. He's barely put any hands on. The lad's gone down. He's made a meal of it, holding his face. It's disappointing to see things like that.
I guess one thing is Liam shouldn't really go and.
Of course, but there's. Absolutely, yeah. He'd been booked and we'd won a free kick, but I need to see it back. I think it's Macca's getting a little bit of grief, and the lads obviously knows what he's doing. He's trying to get someone involved to then throw himself down. So disappointing.
As he had played that shot from the great level of the bar, he had been excellent.
Yeah, top. I thought he was the best player on the pitch on Monday, and for however many minutes, I don't know what minute he got sent off, but he was one of the best on the pitch. It just obviously he was allowed to show his vast array of passing range because he was free in the middle of the pitch. It's frustrating, but I guess it's easier to take the fact that we was able to find a winner. But we'll certainly be discussing it with Walshy. I do feel for him because it's never red, and he cares very deeply. So we've got to be careful with him.
You could tell he was in tears when he came on. You could tell he was so frustrated with the decision.
He's gone to try and help one of his teammates. He's not done anything that should have resulted in a red card.
Wellington's community as well. You mentioned obviously happened the week him and obviously play and did come through and play, and a superb reaction from the crowd then as well.
Yeah, which was lovely, and I'm glad Thomas allowed us to speak publicly about it, because I wanted him to feel the love of the Luton Town supporters, and I knew our supporters would get right behind him today, which was lovely to see. It's obviously been an incredibly tough moment for him, but the way our fans reacted to him and supported the team all afternoon, the way that the boys got around Thomas, the way that he, incredible strength to come and play a game when we needed him off the back of the week he's had, just shows incredible strength. I'm so incredibly proud of him, and I know more so his dad would be so incredibly proud of him. To come out and perform the way he did and just be here with us in such a tough moment, it's incredible for me. Thanks, Matt.
This game's bonkers at times.
Yep.
68 minutes when that red card was shown to Lee, and your camera pan to your head in your hands, and you think you were stunned as much as the crowd was. 20 minutes later, it's absolutely jubilation. And regardless of how it goes in, what does that say about your time?
Yeah, we've found a couple of late moments recently, haven't we? I think that we've gone down away from home and found a win. We've had some tough moments. Here against Blackburn was an incredibly tough moment for us because we got beat, and it felt like it was a chance missed. And we have to stick together as a group in those moments. You can't do anything on your own. You have to club together, and you have to rely on those around you to get you all through it, and you build those bonds and those connections. And obviously you couldn't have written the script today. It was a crazy day, but for us to find that winner, for the lads to keep going, for Shandon in particular to find it, for the lads to support Thomas for all of that, is an incredible day for us. And we just have to make sure we strike that balance between euphoria and elation today, which obviously that threw up because it was so late. And we have to get ourselves back on the ground very, very quickly, because we've got another big task ahead of us next Saturday.
You mentioned yesterday you wanted this place to be bouncy.
Yeah, it was. It was amazing. It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. I loved it. Loved it from the minute we came out to warm up. The game kicks off. That was the Kenny in full voice. I turned around to Pilks. Obviously, Pilks has been a long time with me, and I just said to Pilks, this place is bouncing today. Like, these guys will roar us on. So it was lovely to witness.
That presumably comes from the situation, but also the form that your team is putting.
Yeah. I think the belief has grown around. The belief within the changing room, within the training ground, has been there for a little while and been growing. And I think it took a while, totally understandably so, for that to try and seep out a little bit. We had to get results. We had to put on performances for people to see, to witness, to build that belief. If not, it was just words from me, empty words, unless it was a product on the pitch. And I felt that after the game on Monday, the crowd believed. We've had a couple of moments. Hull away, I felt was a big moment that I could really feel the belief seeping onto the pitch from our crowd. Derby, here on Monday. And again today, it just felt like they believed in us, which is lovely.
A lot more control and lots of variation in the play as well, and that sort of show what a confident team can do against the Northern.
Yeah, and we've probably discussed this a few times, and we probably will do more in depth after the end of the season, just in terms of, when you're in the relegation zone and you're scrapping and fighting for your lives, there's only a certain amount of build-up play that is probably right at that moment because of confidence. We have to make sure we build results and a real solid base and foundation to start playing more football, or however you interpret that. But we've been asking for a variety. The lads have been producing that, and we had to do that today because against 10 men, we had to make sure we had variety. We've got some really good footballers, and so we'll analyse that and assess it, because we're always looking to try and improve. And after the back of today, nothing will change. We'll keep going along the process of continually trying to improve and get better, because we've seen some real shoots of optimism, but there's certainly more to be done.
And that's 2 games in a row against player positions teams, and you've arguably been the best side in both games, so that's something to hang out as well.
Yep. Really proud, really pleased, and again, just making sure we've done nothing yet. We've got to be really proud of what we've done, because we've come from the Blackburn game where was a really, really tough moment for us, and the boys have gone and not just won games, they've played really, really well, and that's the thing we've been chasing, the performance. We have to make sure we chase that again next Saturday, not get too anxious about the situation, just make sure we approach it with calm minds, and try and make sure we go and show our supporters that we're still fighting and scrapping for survival.
And of course the table, Luton Town are above that line for the first time since you arrived. Have you taken time to have a look at it?
No. And I shan't. You guys have been asking me a number of times, and I still shan't. We just have to approach the game next week in isolation. Be confident, of course, believe in what we're doing, of course, but we can't get carried away. I won't be looking at the table. I'll just be focusing on the week ahead. It's going to feel like a long week, waiting for that game to come around. I feel like I keep wishing my life away at the moment, but we have to rest, get our energy back, and make sure we're ready to go.
That's also 3 straight wins now for the first time this season. And how impressed you that you've done it at such a critical stage of the season when you had to?
Yeah, you never know how strong you are until you need to find out. I think is something that I was told a while ago, and that's probably been fitting of the last 3 games. We had to find out how strong we were. Could we keep fighting in tough moments? And the boys have, absolutely. Yeah, and I think someone told me we hadn't won 4 in a row in the top flight since 1986, I think is what I was told earlier on. And take nothing for granted. We've got a really tough game next week, but we have to make sure that we believe that we can go and try and put on a similar performance of what we have done in the last 3 games.